What is up, ladies and gentlemen? Today we have a massive compilation of Ghost gameplay ranging from Act 5, Uncollected. We got all sorts of stuff. We got Evade characters, Caltrops characters, and you're going to see hopefully some really cool stuff today. Looking back on my initial rank up and gameplay video for Ghost, I just didn't know what I was doing, and I was very open about that at the time, but now I feel like I've got a fairly decent handle on Ghost, but there is such a higher level that a more skilled player could maybe take this character to, especially if you have the champion awakened as well. What you just saw there was an insane combo with Ghost's phasing ability, which allows her to convert debuffs into fury, and then a lot of Ghost damage comes from her special 2. Like, her special 2 is absolutely ridiculous when you line it up right, and that's where the majority of the character's damage output is coming from. So that is the main objective that I have found in the majority of fights, is just get to the special 2 as quickly as you can, and then just keep on spamming special 2s, which are going to allow you to keep up the cruelty buffs, which means your crit damage and special 2 damage is just going to go up and up and up. But the combo with the special attacks is you need to dash back and hit the special attack at the same time. So you're going to see here, we dash back and throw the special, makes it unblockable, and every single hit crits. So it's just absolutely insane when you get that combo. But it's one of those things that I'm used to dashing back with like my left hand instead of my right hand. Whereas if you're playing Ghost, you need to dash back with your right, so you can use the left thumb to, tap the special attack. So they need to do them at exactly the same time, which is a little bit, takes a little bit of adjusting. Another really interesting ability Ghost has is all of her critical hits cannot be evaded, and this is really useful for when you're fighting evade champions, because generally the intervals that you'll get attacked into are when they evade your special attacks or evade like your first medium, and when playing with Ghost, if you never throw for the last medium, you know, it really helps to significantly mitigate evade and make evade champions quite a bit easier to fight. So that's something she's really got going for her as well, which I quite like. Miles Morales just absolutely put in the bin there, but now we are going to move on to a few Caltrops fights. So Caltrops is the node, whenever you dash back, you take bleed damage, and whenever Ghost is phasing, she is not only immune to debuffs, but she is going to shrug them off. So providing you dash back and you're either phasing or have it off cooldown or don't have a crit buff active, you are just going to gain fury, and it's really awesome, this interaction, and can be used and played very cleverly on these nodes to deal an insane amount of damage. You are going to see an absolutely ridiculous special 2 on cable there, with all of the hits combined. Like, that would have been kind of a good like 70 to 80,000. So I think if there's ever like a really stacked Caltrops path, I feel like Ghost is going to be maybe one of the favorite characters to bring, but again, you can get screwed over in intervals where you do have the precision buff active, and you try to dash back and you take some bleed damage, so it's not completely bleed proof, but at the same time she does make these fights very easy to deal with as well. This is Caltrops Cyclops, but again, it was just over so incredibly quickly, and just really some great performance for a 4-star character. Now, I said this about Domino, and I said this about Massacre as well, but one of the things that I'm really liking at the moment is that Kabam seem to be adding in a lot of champions that are already very good without having to rely on their awakened ability. Previously, I feel like it was a bit of a 50-50, where the majority of characters needed to be awakened to be pretty good, but recently this year, I feel like it's probably been about 80-90% of the characters are already very good without having to rely on their awakened abilities, and Ghost is just another one of those characters. Her awakened ability is actually very desirable to have because it allows her to start the fight phased for 2 seconds, which means you can immediately attack in and don't need to worry about that parry, and that's going to be good on like unstunnables for initially getting some tempo there. But also the second part of Ghost Awakened ability is that whenever she is phased, any attack that misses will give her 5% of her max power. And as we talked about earlier, the majority of damage, in my experience playing the character, to the best of my ability, does come from the special 2 crits, which are just absolutely ridiculous. So every time an attack misses, you gain 5% power. And if you're against somebody like a Punisher 2099 or like a Spider-Man, and you phase back at just the right time to like avoid a special attack, that could pretty much fill you up to the special 2. So yeah, some really interesting additional damage potential there in certain matchups, and I imagine in most matchups you're going to get a little bit of power, so it's a nice awakened ability. but she doesn't need to have it to be a really good character and have the utility of phasing and also the utility to deal with evades and just kind of good damage in general. So yeah, I applaud Kabam, credit where credit is due. I like that there have been a lot of characters recently that do not rely on being awakened, and I think it is a very, very good thing for the game moving forward that awakened abilities are kind of a nice to have, like icing on the cake for the characters. As we have also demonstrated with both Morningstar and also the Caltrops nodes, Ghost is a very versatile champion in terms of being able to deal with debuffs. She can also deal with both poison and bleed nodes, and I've tested this out in Act 5 as well, so I feel like Ghost is actually going to be quite a good champion for Alliance Quest. I feel like the Ghost, Ant-Man, and Wasp synergy is kind of designed for Alliance Quest. I don't feel like they've really gone with much of an Alliance War approach with these characters, maybe a defense combo for diversity, but the ability to instantly eradicate either a poison or bleed node just by dashing back, or if you have her awakened, she's automatically going to do it at the start of the fight, is a very, very powerful tool for Alliance Quest moving forward, because it makes you very, very versatile in terms of what paths you can go on, and especially with the Ant-Man buff in terms of the synergy that Ghost and Wasp provide. I think Ant-Man would make a great Dormammu killer as well, and Ghost should be good for Nightcrawler and Wasp for reversing the regeneration on Green Goblin. So I think there's maybe some interesting stuff. And as well, Ghost can deal with the Morningstar mini-boss and convert, you know, those bleeds into Furies and have some pretty sick combos. So I feel like just looking at like Alliance Quest Map 5 at the moment, the combo of Ghost, Wasp, and Ant-Man might be a really, really cool and interesting one to run. One thing we demonstrated in yesterday's video versus Domino and Infinity War Iron Man is actually the strength of Ghost's heavy attack, because on each heavy hit, and there are two of them, there's like a 50% chance for Ghost to gain Fury, which increases her attack by about 50% of her base attack. So it's very, very powerful, and especially when it comes to Alliance War with a lot of the Medusa and Infinity War Iron Man matchups, heavy attack countering is becoming quite a popular tactic. Especially for, you know, debuff immune ones as well. So I'm interested to see if there's going to be many people ranking up Ghost to use on, like, Alliance War offense, because I think, you know, the character's very, very versatile. I feel like she'd be a good addition to bring, but at the same time, I kind of think, arguably, Hyperion might be a little bit better still for Alliance War offense, generally speaking, because he just hits like a friggin' truck, and that power gain is so valuable. But I think on certain paths, there could maybe be a justification for Ghost. However, one of the things that makes her so much more enjoyable to play in Quest is also with the Wasp synergy, all of her special attacks are unblockable, which again just makes it so much easier to land them, and landing the special attacks when you don't have the Wasp synergy, kind of after you do the dash back, you need to make sure the opponent either has no power or they are stunned to kind of reliably do it, and arguably have them in the corner as well. So it's a little bit tricky to get off, but the Wasp synergy again just makes it so incredibly easy. One thing as well is I did test the Ghost interaction between various degeneration nodes and also Dormammu, and unfortunately dashing back does not get rid of degeneration, which is super, super annoying. So for a lot of those matchups, Gladiator Hulk is still the absolute MVP king, especially when it comes to Map 6 Starburst. So yeah, I was hoping she'd shrug off degeneration, but unfortunately not. And now we have 3 more matchups left. So we've got Blade here, and you can see sometimes as well with dashing back on Ghost, especially because you can't phase whenever you have the crit buff, and whenever you dash back you gain the crit buff, so unless you can land a hit, then you can't dash back consecutively and keep on refreshing phasing. So during the first special 2, we did not manage to phase at the right time because we were trying to bait out, and you know, when you're trying to bait out special attacks, you dash him back, so sometimes the phasing doesn't completely counter special attacks, which is important to bear in mind. However, ladies and gentlemen, during this next matchup, we have a bit of an example of how a more skilled Ghost player than me could do some very, very sick beast mode gameplay. So this is the first special attack, but the next one, we just time it absolutely perfectly and just friggin' balls it. I was very, very happy with the next one, but we fire off the special 2 here. The first hit didn't connect. We dash back at the right time. We just standing there. We go in, smack that ball boy up. Absolutely beautiful. There are some great combinations and great timing stuff that you can do to maybe get ins that you couldn't possibly get with other characters. There's also an interaction between Infinity War, Iron Man, and Ghost, where if you, go in at exactly the right time when the second one is coming at you, then yeah, you can get the, in after Infinity War Iron Man Special 1. It's super tricky to pull off, but that is one of the things that I quite like about Ghost, is she's a very high skill cap character. There is a lot to her, a lot of decision making throughout the fight, and a lot of managing kind of debuffs and phasing, especially when you're in certain matchups like, you know, a Morningstar or Abomination here. But I thought, just to round off this video, ladies and gentlemen, we'd have a bit of a Ghost v Ghost matchup, just for the shits and giggles, and just to show you, you know, how quickly she'd be able to topple this Ghost, who has, well, she has, I think, about 130,000 health, but at the same time, she is regenerating as well. But Ghost has some really decent damage output. Again, you know, my first initial rank up and gameplay video, I definitely was not playing the character right. I was definitely not getting the big damage and properly utilizing the special 2s like we are in this video. So it's just one of those things, man, of Ghost. She is a bit of a tricky character. If you do get her from a 5-star crystal, 6-star, 4-star in like 3 months when she's added to the basic, she's definitely a character, at least from my experience, that you need to have a little bit of patience with, a little bit of practice, because I don't feel like she's a character that you can just pick up. You know, like Gwenpool. You can pick up Gwenpool, X23, it's just nuke the crap out of the opponent, and easy game, easy life. Whereas Ghost, you know, she takes a little bit of finessing here. But there we go. We're going to dash back, fire off that final special to slam that Ghost down. 76 hits. Not too bad. Thank you for watching today's video. Feel free to smash that like button. Take care and have an absolutely fantastic day.